Welcome to Power to the People. What's going on? This is Evie Unleashed. And every single week, as I say every week, this is my favorite show because this show right here is about us, about me, about you, about our community, about our kids, about nonprofits, about organization, empowering each other, holding hands through this thing called life. And I am super excited and thrilled to be talking today about a super important topic in my life at the moment because I am a nursing mother of a 9-month-old Amaris Brisa Reyes, my little dear baby girl. And I am, like I said, nursing. And I saw this organization on Instagram and I said, oh my gosh, I've got to have them on my show. So I have Annalise from Latched. What's going on, honey?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So obviously, Latched has to do with a baby latching on. It has to do with nursing, breastfeeding. Tell me a little bit about your organization and what you guys do.
Okay, so thank you, Evie. So
You're welcome.
Latched is all about, I first want to talk about the word latched. Mm-hmm. Why I picked latch in the first place is the latch is the most important part when it comes to breastfeeding.
Yep, it sure is.
Exactly. So for most people that don't know what a latch is, it's basically, long story short, a baby latching onto a nipple, right?
Yes, the mother. Mm-hmm.
The mother, exactly. So the truth is that if you don't have the latch correct, things are not going to go right. And that goes same for breast pumping. If you don't have the breast pump on right, it's not going to go right. So that's where I came up with the name Latched.
I love it because, you know, stems. I remember I have a 9-year-old who's going to be 10, and then I have a 9-month-old. The first time around, you know, unfortunately, you make mistakes, you learn things, and then you're like, oh, man, I wish. That's why I love what you do, because this is so important. And a lot of mothers fail at breastfeeding, feel like a failure, get overly stressed. And there's so much that goes with that it can be simplified if we have organizations like you speaking about it. And I remember when somebody told me latch, you're like, oh, latch on right. And we have, you know, a video you can watch about latching. I'm like, I don't know what you're all doing. My kid is spitting this thing out left and right. I mean, I had so many problems that I had to buy a nipple shield. I know you know what that is. It's like a little piece of plastic that you put over your body part so that you're able to properly breastfeed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. And you feel like you're doing things wrong. And sometimes it's not that you're doing it wrong. It's just that you don't have the right information.
Exactly. So that's the thing I've noticed. So I am a nurse. I do have years of experience working with moms and babies. And the truth is, I realize that it's very unfortunate that so many women here in Miami, our community, don't have the support that they need.
Support, yes.
It's all about the support and education. And I realized I'm going to make a difference in this Miami community. So that's where we came up with Latched. And what I'm going to be providing to the Miami community is prenatal consultations. So very important to grab onto these moms before they even deliver. Because at the end of the day, education, knowledge is power, right? So if I get to teach them before and explain to them like positioning and all the issues that could come with lactation, they'll be prepared for their breastfeeding journey when the time comes.
Absolutely.
I also do postnatal lactation, so I can go to the hospital and see you right then and there if you have me, and I could go to your house afterwards and follow up with you. So the really cool thing that no one really knows is that your lactation consults are covered by insurance.
Oh my gosh.
Not all insurances, but there are a lot that I can share with you. We are accepting many insurances. So that is huge because, you know, some people don't have the resources. It's expensive to get that support. But hello, if your insurance covers it, that's super amazing.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing that we're doing. And then the last service that we do, which hopefully we'll have many more in the future, is baby care classes. So this is probably one of my favorites because this is when, before the baby's born, I can go to your house. The whole family's there. Mom, dad, abuela, abuelo, tío, anyone. And I teach you everything you need to know about babies. Swaddling, diapering, burping. And I do provide you a book that I published called Baby Care.
I have it in my hand. Is this what you gifted me?
Yes. From the hospital to your home. So it's like the cheat sheet to parenting. It's going to teach you everything.
I love that. And, you know, I think that a lot of us parents think, okay, it comes naturally. And I think the instinct with your baby and, the skin to skin, you get to know each other. And as a mother, usually you have instinct on what's right for your baby, and every baby is different. However, I think that this is also important because when it comes down from generation to generation to generation, your abuela will be having you do some things to your kid. They're like, no, my kid's gonna die. Yep. What do you know? Like, we've evolved when it comes down to education, and we've evolved when it comes down to technique because we've learned. And I think that's important for you to come to the house to school us all together because this causes a lot of family fights.
Oh, yes. I've seen it.
Mom, you can't do this because XYZ. I'm not going to watch the baby. Or, You know what I mean? They think that you're crazy and they think that you're acting too good that now that you have your own baby. But it's not that. It's that we do things differently because every generation needs to be better than the previous generation. And, we learn through, like I said, studies and education and nursing, and things are just done differently. And sometimes it's a difficult thing to try to explain to other caretakers or your family members who are helping you out, and it makes it very awkward.
Exactly.
So I think that makes it a little easier that somebody else is telling you, no, you can't do it like that, or here's a better way, or here's another option.
Exactly. I could completely agree. And let me tell you, working alongside moms and babies, that's where I also got the idea. I was seeing many family arguments.
Yes,
and,
right?
And it's not their fault. That's what was normal for them, for our moms or our grandmas at that time. But it's true. Right now, things have changed and medicine changes daily. So it's important to always be educated on those topics.
Now, let me ask you about this. I know, especially me being a mama of a baby, and I had a previous baby, and other mothers and friends that I've discussed, we all have different journeys, and every baby's different and every mother is different. I hear a lot, and my breast feeding journey was different this time than last time. And a lot of times the mothers are not able to lactate, meaning they don't produce milk. Oh, I stopped because I didn't produce milk. And I used to say that too. And I feel now that in my personal journey, the reason why I wasn't able to is because I wasn't doing things the right way. Like I wasn't pumping enough, or I had the latching problem where my baby wasn't latching. I found out he was tongue-tied. And then he ended up getting the little thing done under the tongue where unfortunately they cut it, but after like 30 minutes are fine.
Exactly.
But that all had to do with, luckily I had people, doctors to help me, but it was like you felt lonely. So what advice would you give mothers that feel, hey, I just didn't produce?
So I'm glad you're asking me that, because that's very common for many women or mothers to say that, because going back to the generation, it's just breastfeeding is not like the most sexy thing to do right now, right? It's more go straight to formula, right?
Correct. Which everybody has a different journey, and we're not opposed to that.
That's okay.
It is okay. But I just will wish that women had more education like this and they knew more, because it would have helped me 9 years ago. And now that I know a little bit more, I'm like, oh man, I wish you were there. Where were you when I needed you?
I don't know, but I'm here now. Have another baby. No. But no, to answer, the truth is that you can produce more milk, but it's like you said, you probably didn't know better. So if you did have guidance in that time, I would have told you, listen, we're going to get more milk out of you. The way you're going to do that is to stimulate more and more. So that means breastfeeding more often, maybe even every 2 hours, breast pumping every 2 hours compared to every 3. It is possible to, I don't like to say there's no such thing as you don't have milk, because there are some situations that some women can't produce, but most likely it was because the person wasn't educated, didn't have the support they needed.
Didn't have the support, exactly. And let me tell you, I mean, as a woman, I think we've evolved, when it comes down to the acceptance of this and that. And I don't know if you remember years ago, but there was this whole protest at Aventura Mall where mothers were being shunned for breastfeeding in public, and people make comments. And man, let me tell you, I even kind of get emotional. Like I never experienced, even being a Latin woman, I don't think I've ever experienced like being discriminated against, but I know there are times where people made comments about me breastfeeding, and I'm like, oh my God, that really hurt my feelings. Do I look at your kid weird when you're feeding your kid chicken nuggets? So why are you looking at me weird when I'm feeding my baby breast milk? I mean, God-given breast to feed my child.
Exactly.
And it really started to enlightened me as to like, oh my gosh, the world is really like this. That's why I think this is so important to be able to empower women, like, why is it that you guys are looking at me bad? Because I'm doing something natural. And I think that, like you said, the sexiness part is not there. So it's something that needs to be discussed and educated on.
Exactly. And I've noticed, like, if you go to other states, this is more talked about. But here in Miami, I don't know why, we're not talking about it. And we're not empowering women. And at the end of the day, like you said, it is God-given. It's the most natural thing that a woman can do. So why are we looking down on that? I'm here, Latched is here to empower women and to let you know that you're not alone. This is normal. Whatever you're going through.
Yes, this is normal.
This is normal.
That should be your thing. Get shirts that say, this is normal.
This is normal.
Right?
Good idea. I'm going to do that because this is normal. And we're here to support you. And if you want to cry, if you want to just console just to cry to me, I'm here for you. I'm here for it. So Latched is here to empower these women here in Miami. We need that.
What is one of the biggest things that you say that is a hurdle for women that you consult with?
Okay. I know we keep saying this, but it's the first thing that came to my head. Support, but I'm specifically talking about support from family.
Okay.
So I'm sure maybe you can relate when it comes to breastfeeding is very difficult, right? It's demanding.
It is extremely demanding.
It's exhausting.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Words. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing. It's like having kids. It's like, if you talk to a parent, it's like the hardest, most difficult, most OMG kind of thing, but it is the most beautiful and it is the most rewarding in so many aspects.
Exactly.
From, bonding with your child to giving them the best formula that you could ever give them.
Exactly. So I think the biggest hurdle is the education when it comes to not just, the mom, but the family. For example, the support person, maybe the husband or the wife or whatever. And I think that if by getting a prenatal consult, everyone could get educated, and that will make the breastfeeding journey a little smoother for these moms. Because I noticed that a lot of these moms, it's like every time I see them, they want to break down and cry immediately. Just me walking into the house, and they're exhausted, and they sometimes don't have any help with them, and
they don't know what they're doing right or wrong. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
So I've noticed that's a big hurdle. It's like the emotional side of breastfeeding that they feel alone. I think that's what it is. There's many other hurdles that we could talk about.
Course.
But that's like the one that's like hitting home to me right now.
Yeah. And then sometimes you start, if you're not accomplishing what you feel like you should accomplish, or you're not able to breastfeed as much, and like maybe you're drying out, and it does get emotional because you feel like a failure. You know what I mean? And if you got to go to formula, you're not a failure. No, absolutely not. But
absolutely.
This is about helping you help yourself and help your baby and help your family. And every, family and every situation is different. But one thing that's worked for me is my calendar. And why do I say that? Because I really tried to breast pump certain times. And like, I have 2 other kids. I have a husband. I have a job. So I have to schedule it in. And I tell my husband, don't even think about that time. And he literally will change his schedule to accommodate my breast pumping time. Why? Because I can't hold my baby while I'm breast pumping.
Yes.
It's going to yank that breast pump off me. And then I have to breast pump because I have to leave milk for her when I'm gone. So it's like, it's a strategy. And everybody needs their own specific strategy. And I didn't realize the first time around. The first time around, I was only able to breast pump like 3 months. As soon as I came back to work, it was over. This time around, I have a breast pump room directly across my studio.
Amazing.
A mother's room.
Amazing.
Girl, I chill in there and I post. I go live sometimes.
Yes.
And I do I work while I'm in there. And that is part of my strategy. Have you ever helped somebody specifically figure out what needs they have in their life to be able to help them through the journey?
There's a lot of apps I've said.
Really?
There's a lot of apps that help women, like with not just breastfeeding, but when it comes to like how many times you're feeding your baby, how many diapers, pees and poops. So I always like to share those apps with these moms. Scheduling, like you said, like I've noticed a lot of moms don't know when, like how often they have to breast pump. And so Latched does help when you do go back to work. We do help you with scheduling, like, all that, what you were saying, Evie, it's very difficult to continue this breastfeeding journey and being a woman, just
and being a normal person.
Not even a woman, a normal person.
Just because it's something that, like you said earlier, it's very, very demanding. And I know there was a point where I was literally bottle by bottle. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I have one bottle left. I need to go home like right now.
Oh my God.
And like walk through the house and like feed my baby. And it's a very stressful situation. It's very, it's just challenging.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what am I not doing? And I went on, I looked online and you research, but you feel like sometimes some research is contradicting, some information is contradicting. You're like, So what I just did is continue to pump a little bit more and drank more water.
Yes.
Like the basic thing. And then it helped me.
Yes.
So then I'm kind of like, I'm ahead now. You know what I mean? I'm not bottle by bottle.
A really good trick that I want to share. And I'm glad. So you have a picture here of your baby.
Yes.
So for all you breastfeeding moms out there in the work field, if you just have a picture of your baby and you look at a picture of your baby, or if you take with you a piece of clothing and smell it, you will probably produce more milk that day. That is a good trick.
I believe that. I believe that. I don't know what your body does and how it's in tune with different things, but one thing I also noticed, biggest mistake, I'll never walk out the house without my breast pads ever again.
Oh.
But I went to go and have lunch with some friends. Somebody else's baby started crying. How about I started lactating?
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, excuse me, can I get some napkins? Like I started lactating. I'm like, oh my gosh, your body is such a magnificent thing. Like my boobs are ready to rescue somebody else's baby.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, so I like that tip. Tell me about this little baby care book, From the Hospital to Your Home, that you gave me.
So yes, I did write this all from my personal experience, and something really cool is that I have something in the book called Latched Hacks. Ooh. So it's literally my secret tips that I'm sharing with all you moms, dads, anyone that wants to read this book. Super cool, Latched Hacks. So
that's awesome.
It's like I said, it's from the hospital to your home. So I go ahead and prepare you. I noticed when I was working alongside moms and babies that so many people come to the hospital not knowing anything, to be honest with you, like not being prepared for anything. For example, what vaccine we give in the hospital, the medications we immediately like give the baby after they're born. And that's in there. That's in the book. That's going to prepare you for that. It's going to prepare you from the moment they're born to months after. And another thing that's super important I teach is CPR recommendations. Super important. And not just that, choking. So a lot of babies, unfortunately, it's a sad topic, but a lot of kids do choke. And I have a statistic, according to the Department of Health, at least one child dies from choking on food every 5 days in the U.S. So imagine, if you're educated on choking and what to do in these situations, you'll be able to save your baby. So that's in my book. I'm going to teach you, not just my book, in my baby care class. So it's important to know CPR and choking for the whole family. You just never know when it's going to happen.
You never know. It's not planned. And like you said, it just comes out of nowhere and you have to be prepared. And that's one thing. I liked the title, Baby Care from the Hospital to Your Home, because it's so overwhelming. You're having a baby. First of all, you're planning the baby shower. You get the clothes. You don't even know what clothes they need. You're asking this person. Even when it came down to the registry, I asked like 3 of my friends, what did you put on your registry? You're lost. Unless you had a kid recently, you forget things and things are different, And I just remember like Google being my best friend. And I'm like, oh, but this is a lot. And like, well, what is the really important stuff? And like, then you have the nurses when you get to the hospital, but you go home and I'm like, bro, like, I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do here? How often do I feed the baby? It's just so much, and I'm getting stressed thinking about everything.
Exactly.
But this is handy
to always refer back to.
Light book,
super easy,
but important. It's so important, and you're already dealing with a lot, and this can relieve you of so many questions.
You can
so
always
much
refer
anxiety.
back to it, and I made it simple, bullet points. This is what you need to know. And it's just like that. And the cool thing is, you mentioned for your registry for a baby shower, this is an awesome gift to give to moms.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that.
Yes, we're actually going to have it on sale on Amazon April 19th. I mean, that's an awesome gift. Not just because it's me, but like when I have a baby, I'm sure this is something I would want. Like, it's reasonable. It's like, it's the best gift you could give someone.
And that's the key. There's certain things that I have or things that I know that I'm like, man, I wish somebody would have given me this or told me about this or X, Y, and Z. And when I do go to baby showers, you have like the cute little outfits and dresses. Okay, cute. Yeah. They last for like in a month. But I do have like a little section in my baby's room of like gifts for other babies. Like if I know somebody, because I'm like, I know this helped me. You got to pass on the baton.
Exactly.
You have to help other moms. And sometimes they ask me, hey, do you have any tips? I'm like, look, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your life, but these are some tips and it helped me. And I think you're right. I'm adding this to my little gift list.
Add it to your list because it's super helpful. It's an awesome gift to give, to share with other mothers and families to empower them.
So speaking of empowerment, how can women get empowered and reach you? How can they get information? Do you have a website? Like, how can they follow to just get help and just get support?
Yes, so definitely. We do have Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, Latched Consultations. We have Facebook, Latched Consultations. We do have a website, latchedconsultations.com. And you could definitely DM me. You could talk to me. You could book your appointment on the website. Most importantly, check your insurance coverage. On Instagram, you could go to the link in our bio.
Oh, no way.
Super easy. You click the link, you put your information of your insurance, and in about 5 minutes, boom, you get an email. It's going to tell you, I'm covered 100%, or it's going to say, unfortunately, you're not covered, things like that. Super
I think I'm
easy.
Covered. United Healthcare, okay.
There you go. Super easy.
Wow.
So that's on Instagram. Just link in bio right there.
I love that. So what is one of the main reasons that you feel that breastfeeding is important?
So I love that you're asking me that because it's very important to educate on this. I don't know if people know this, but babies who are breastfed have a lower risk of asthma, obesity, type 1 diabetes, ear infections, sudden infant death syndrome. And not just that, let's talk about mom because mom's super important. Some benefits for the mom is that it's going to lower the risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. That's just some of the, I made it short for you, but that is super important to share because a lot of people don't realize that breast milk is super easy. Another thing, like it's right there. It's on you.
Convenient.
It's free. And it's going to help your baby and yourself internally. That's super important for people to know. And another thing is the antibodies. That's like my favorite thing.
Yes. Speak on that.
Antibodies. It's immediately going to transfer to your baby and going to help your baby's immune system to strengthen. I'm not against formula. I'm all for breast. Fed is best. That's the saying.
Correct.
Fed is best always. But unfortunately, formula does not give your baby antibodies, and breast milk does. So if you're open to breast milk, I'm rooting you on because that is the best thing for your baby. But fed is breast. That's it.
Fed is best. There we go. Fed is best.
Fed is best. But yeah, I think breast milk is really beneficial to the mom and the baby.
And I know that personally for me, one of the best things is I feel good knowing that I'm doing my best for my baby. And like I said, the first time around, I wasn't able to do it as long. Luckily, thank God for this mother's room across the studio. I'm able to, but it makes me feel better. And not only that, but I feel like it helps with the connection with my daughter. Like I was up at 3:00 in the morning. She's like, and mind you, I am exhausted, but I'm like, oh, you been paka, baby. Come here. Let me just hush you up a little bit real quick.
For
and
sure.
like you just feel the love and the connection.
For sure.
And I think it's super important to have that. And it's a beautiful thing for however long it lasts for you. You know what I mean? However long you're able to do it. And I know some places don't even have when I worked here before years ago, almost 10 years ago, we didn't have that room. But hopefully, workplaces are being able to catch up to support moms.
I hope so because it's super important. Women need to feel supported and especially in their workplace. And I'm really happy you have that here. But I do know some places don't. But I think things are going to change soon.
Yeah. Maybe you should talk with your employer about, getting you a little area to be able to do what you got to do for your baby.
Exactly.
I'm coming home with 2 bottles, Amaris. Don't worry about it. But I love the fact that you're saying that, a lot of insurances are accepting it and you have a link in your bio for a mom that may be interested. You know what I mean? And I also think it's super important, like you said, the support. And that sounds like so cliche. Like, what is support? Support to helping you figure out maybe how you can do it better so your baby can latch on. Because if they don't latch on and they can't attach to you properly, and if it hurts, it's the wrong way. I learned that.
Exactly.
I learned that.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people automatically think that you're going to breastfeed, you're going to have nipple pain. No, actually, it's all because
that means
of the
you're
latch.
sucking wrong. Yeah.
Yes, the latch was incorrect. So it's unfortunate. I've helped many moms that do stop breastfeeding much sooner than they wanted to because of the pain. And it's sad because they find me a little too late. Never too late, but
like to be able to help them in the personal journey.
Exactly. I wish I could have taught them this from day one, and things would have been different. But
absolutely.
For sure, breastfeeding doesn't have to be painful every single time.
At all. I felt pain a couple of times. I'm like, Maddie, you better get off, get back on. And you know what's crazy? She's 9 months, and just yesterday happened to me. She randomly just latched on wrong, and I told her, and I opened up my mouth, and she opened up her mouth and relatched. Oh. I don't know how I taught her that.
That's so beautiful.
I'm like, okay,
she knows.
So she's listening.
She knows. That is amazing. Oh my gosh.
I love it. Oh, I love what you do, Annalise. This is really awesome, and I totally can relate to you and to what you're teaching, and all the moms, don't give up. Or maybe a mom that's on this journey. It can feel lonely. It can feel tough, but doing this a second time around, I feel more empowered now because I have more information, but I went through it the hard way. I didn't know anybody like you. I didn't have the amazing information that you have in this book, Baby Care. So I'm rooting for all the moms, and it's so true. You have this book available, and it's a beautiful gift, and you have it, I think, on Amazon as of April 19th.
Yes.
It's called Latched Baby Care, From the Hospital to Your Home. Oh my gosh, you're like a lifesaver.
Oh, I'm so glad.
This is awesome. And I'm so proud of you because I know it takes a lot of experience and a lot of work to be able to get the knowledge that you get. And it's not easy. It's not natural, and it's not something in a book unless you have this one.
Exactly. You got it.
So once again, let them know how they can get a hold of you and your organization.
Yes. So follow us on Instagram, Latched Consultations, Facebook, Latched Consultations, or our website, latchedconsultations.com.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And feel free, if you have any questions or you want to just DM me in to get a hold of her at Evie Unleashed. That's IVY Unleashed on Instagram. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Listen, if you have a nonprofit organization or a topic you want to chat with me about, don't be a stranger. Hit me up as well. As I said, at Evie Unleashed. Until next time, thanks for hanging out and listening to Power to the People.